Hi, it's Melissa here, and today I'm sharing another layout for the Cut Shop. This one is featuring the Boys Rule cut file again, and here is a quick look at my layout. So I did lots of stitching on this one, and to be able to do this, I decided to go back to my cross-stitching days when I was a real avid cross-stitcher before I discovered scrapbooking. So what I did was I placed the cut file down and I drew a 1/4 inch grid around the edge, or a bit wider than the cut file, did it with a pencil, and then I went through with my paper piercer and pierced all the holes. The next step was to do all the cross stitch, and I just kept lining up the TP cut file with what I had done to make sure I had full coverage. So it took me a good couple of days to get all the cross stitch in, and I just did it in small increments. I just had it on my kitchen or dining room table, and I just picked it up and did a bit at a time. So here I'm erasing as much pencil as I could, and I'd forgotten to erase in between for the top two pieces, so that yellow piece and the red piece, I'd forgotten to go through with the eraser and just get rid of those lines, and I stitched over the top, but I've kind of gone, excuse me, in between, like on close inspection you'd probably see the pencil line, but flipping through the album you're not going to see it. So here is the TP, and I just wanted to make sure it looked good on the top, and now I'm just putting lots of dimensional adhesive to pop it up, because otherwise I just didn't really want it to sit flat on the stitching. I wanted there to be a bit of shadowing and some visual separation, so this took a bit of time, so I've sped it up, and I just cut down by stamping up dimensionals, because there are some bits of the cut file are thinner than the others, and I just really wanted it to look really effective, so it meant that I had to place these all over the cut file. Now I'm using the Atwell collection by Fancy Pants, and this was in one of my clip kits earlier this year, and I thought it was perfect for this layout. So the photo is of a hut that Sam made. My oldest, he's 9, he made it. It's actually raining, and in summer, February, here in New Zealand, and he went outside with plastic bags and a big rubbish bag and decided to make a hut in the rain, and of course Azaria had to go out there too, and they even made little vests with rubbish bags or plastic grocery bags, and they put them over their tops. So of course I had to get a photo, and when I saw the little TP on the Boys Rule cut file, I thought it would be perfect to document this memory. So there I have put the cut file down. I didn't think I was going to pop up the top of the TP, but in the end it was lying too flat, so I thought it looked better if I did. Originally I was going to have this photo as a 4x6, but I had a bit of trouble with the placement, so I've just trimmed it down into a 4x4 square. And doing that enables me to focus on the main part of what this entire layout is about, which is the hut. So I needed something to, I guess, ground this layout, and I had this piece from, I think that one may actually be from the Basic Grey Urban Luxe collection, I think, or it could be Atwell. Anyway, it's from that kit. I apologise if I'm wrong there, but I had used it for another layout, and I'd done a big cut file on it, and so rather than, I don't like to throw anything away, so I thought it was perfect to back this layout, and I don't show that, but I will show it later on. Now I'm backing my photo with some photo paper. I think I'd been in a hurry to print a photo and hadn't put another one below it, so I had this offcut, and that's another thing you can do if you like a white border and you have some leftover photo paper. This kit had an add-on of some Amy Tangerine Better Together product, and if you've watched my videos you know that I've been using those papers a lot, and so these are 2 cut aparts, and I just had them in this kit, and they went perfectly with Azaria's wearing a pinky red top, and the green I think works really well, so I just used them to map my photo behind that white border. So I also cut the word Rad, and I cut that out of some of the Atwell paper. I had thought about putting these two tags from the Atwell collection, but in the end they just don't go with the colours in this layout. I thought about using that whoop-de-doo piece of ephemera from the basic grey ephemera pack, but you'll see that I'll change that as well. Just doesn't look right. So these two other pieces are also from the basic grey ephemera pack. And at this point I was really struggling because it wasn't looking cohesive. It was looking like a layout that had two separate parts that weren't working together. So I kept going anyway, and in the end I end up really happy with how it turns out. So I'm just adding this little tab, or I think it's a tab, and that will be the place that I put my date. I did a fake staple and then popped it up on some dimensional adhesive. So I wanted to use that whoop-de-doo, but it's just really not the right colours for this. So there comes a point where you do have to commit to sticking your photo down, and really that's the logical place for it, is right there. So I did think about putting the rad below the photo, but I like how it looks at the top, and because I've got a lot of dimension I thought I'll pop this one up as well. So once again I had to cut down those dimensional adhesive into small parts, and that's what I've done. So as you would have noticed, I hadn't pushed that down, so there is potential to move it if I need to. It's a good trick if you don't really know where you're going to put things on your page. Don't fully adhere them, just place them gently. So I thought I'd call my layout Rad Hut, because that's what it was that they were building. And no, it's not a teepee, but I thought the teepee was just so cute, and I really wanted to do some cross stitch, and I needed a cut file that had large open spaces to enable that, to really feature that stitching. So I'm just using some letter stickers from the Atwell collection. So these are they're like a cross between puffy and enamel stickers, and they're from the Atwell collection, and unfortunately they look like a mess on the sheet because my youngest she was quiet one day in the craft room, and I went in there and she had picked them all off, and they were all over her and the floor, so I had to salvage them and get them off her. So I've put a feather on the right of the photo, and I've put some dimensional adhesive to pop up the top of it, and a little heart, and I've put that larger heart on the top of the teepee, but as you'll see it won't stay there. Now there was this pie chart, I guess that's what it is, circle piece, and I thought it looked like the sun, so I just cut it in half and then layered it up, and I really love the way it looks. And it's from the basic grey ephemera pack as well. I've just trimmed off the excess. And now it's just a case of playing around with embellishment, and my layout's looking quite plain at this stage, so it definitely needed a bit more. I've added a little, I can't remember what it says, little enamel or puffy sticker, and a little triangle pointing to it. I've got that You Did It die cut, and I've popped that up as well. So this is a really dimensional layout for me. Now I'm just adding the date, and you'll see I've moved the heart up to where the sun is, and I've put the feather underneath it. So here I am doing my journaling, and I haven't done hand-drawn lines for a very long time, but I thought this layout really needed something below the photo, and the journaling is always an important part of the layout for me as well. So in my journaling I'm just telling the story of how Sam decided to build a hut in the rain, and Azaria had to go out there too. Now, it's not the best photo in the world, but it definitely tells the story, and it's the only photo I have of this hut building experience. And the kids love this layout. They especially love looking at the teepee. Now I remembered that I had these hoarded October afternoon clouds and raindrops, and they came in a paper bakery kit which I belonged to probably about 3 years ago, and I had never found a layout to use them in. And I thought, this layout's perfect because it was raining as the kids were building their hut. So that is a piece of exclusive flair from Paper Bakery, and I think it just says Rain Rain, I think it says on it, and I thought that's perfect as well. It was a spring themed kit, so it had lots of things about rain. And that is my final layout, so I hope you enjoyed watching how I put this together, and I will be back again really soon. Have a lovely day.